Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Thanks for stopping by for another episode here at All I See is W, where we talk about stocks, crypto, and finance. In today's video, we have a lot to cover. I'll be doing a deep dive analysis of Opendoor Technologies, ticker Open, one of the hottest stocks right now with so much volume shares and options being traded. We'll go through technical analysis, what my price predictions are, and I'll be playing an epic video clip of Tom Lee, with his overall assessment of Opendoor, what they're doing as a growth stock, and what the potential is. We'll go through the latest updates on Open Army on X, as well as me going through technical analysis, price predictions of Open for the upcoming week, as well as through the rest of the year 2025 and onward. Now, if you're new to this channel, part of the Open Army, I would really appreciate you hitting the like, subscribing for more related content. Thanks, guys. Let's begin.
Tesla was always called a bubble for chronically for a decade, and it turned out to be, really early investors saw the future. So open door rising, I think is not unhealthy. I haven't done the work on it, so I can't tell you what I think the valuation is, but just because it's gone up a lot to me doesn't mean anything is wrong with the company.
So there you heard it from Fundstrat. Tom Lee, actually chairman of BMNR stock, one of the largest ETH treasury stocks. Take a look at my other videos that I post on BMNR. Eric Jackson posts bingo, and Austin posts on X. I believe the $82 reference is for 2028 price target. However, if the company has a great new CEO and finds more asset light ways of making profit, the company could go to $200 or even crazier, $500. Put that into perspective. Open Doors is gaining a lot of traction right now. The branding is getting much stronger. In fact, the Open Army is getting, louder, stronger, and bigger. So definitely something not to ignore. Singularity Research posts Open killing it, almost 100 homes sold in the last 24 hours and grossed $36 million. Let's go. I mean, that just shows how powerful Open Door is. I mean, once this starts getting used around the global markets, not only in the United States, just think about that. Real estate is like the biggest factor. And if you have more and more people buying, selling, and trading homes on the internet, that's huge. But you look here, within the last 24 hours, about 99 homes sold, $722 million in total market value. So definitely some huge upside in terms of just sales going on using the app. Jack posts 485 million shares traded on Open today, 2 billion worth, and the most traded stock on NASDAQ closed at $4.69, which was 32 cents higher than the dip we had today. Resilience from the retail community. The Open Army is strong. Hang in there. Eric Jackson posts Open just passed NVIDIA and Tesla in options volume today. As Drake said, nothing was the same, but don't confuse volume with value. Real price is $82, $200, and $500. Jobs not finished. Nesser posts Open has taken the number one spot from NVIDIA and Tesla per option volume. Open is now much stronger than before, and for the first time since 2022, we have the real reality of adjusted EBITDA. I believe Open will definitely surpass $8 by Friday's close, so definitely very bullish. We have several days before we get to Friday, but I'm really do thinking that as we get to next week, we may very well get to double-digit share price range. Stevio posts Open ranked ninth among all US stocks in terms of popularity within the global Chinese community, up from 10th place yesterday. The world is investing in Open. They see the potential in Open Doors turnaround story, the next Carvana, the Airbnb of real estate for the digital age. So definitely very bullish, with the popularity and the buzz continuing to rise, surpassing like the Max 7 companies. I mean, you have Opendoor Technologies, in the top 10. That's just very bullish when it comes to, stocks in terms of popularity. Let's take a look at technical analysis. In fact, I actually bought more Open today. I bought a big bag of Open today. Reason why is, I do think there's upside. Anything below $5, you'll be in a good state. And again, this isn't financial advice. Always do your research. If you got in lower, even better. Uh, but from a long-term perspective, as we scale out, the fact that open door technologies, there's so much upside, there's volume, which is what I like. I really do think as we head into next week, even perhaps early next week by Tuesday, we may very well break through this, $10 resistance line. It's been going down for many, many years. In fact, down over 50% as we scale out, from the many years. Yes, we had that overbought situation 94 back in July. It's cooled off from that, taking a cup and handle approach. I definitely do see with just the last 2 days of consolidation volatility, we may very well have that next leg upcoming as we break into the $10 range, which is why I actually, increased the number of shares today. I really do like Opendoor Technologies. I really do see the potential that it can run. We're seeing, a lot of small cap stocks making big movements, and on the macro scale updates with, Federal Reserve, having interest rate cuts, this is really going to benefit, people who are trying to get, loans for like, homes and all that. So definitely there's going to be more activity when it comes to, buying homes, selling homes. So that's really going to benefit companies like Open Door Technologies, along with the Genius Bill Act that really favors, tax exclusions. Let's say if you're buying a home and you're trying to upgrade to a newer home, that excludes tax implications. So all of that's going to drive more activity in the economy. And for those reasons, there's going to be, user interfaces like Open Door Technologies to support the infrastructure for, purchasing and selling homes. So, from a technical analysis standpoint, I really do like the upside. Volume is kicking into gears. I do anticipate MACD, we will see a bullish divergence with, continuation on the green candles and relative strength. It's been cooling down, which is a good thing, and we may very well see open start, catapulting up into the double-digit share price range, like what Tom Lee was alluding to. It's not a bad thing for the price to go up. That just shows the strength, the dominance, and we're seeing a lot of companies really ramp up in terms of its share price maturity, and Open Door Technologies may very well be like that. Similar to what we've seen with other companies like SoFi, hovering in the $6. Now it's like, getting close to $30. Can eventually Open Doors catch up to like companies like SoFi, Carvana? I think it'll come with time. The user interface is strong. There's a strong army cult right now with open doors. So I definitely do see that there's upside with this company. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this episode at All I See Is W. If you did, I'd love to hear what your comments are, what your predictions are. And please, I would really appreciate you smashing the like, subscribing for more related content. Thanks, guys.